Right here I have Joe and Dave. They're handling some of my birds. I want just a little history on them. I'm going to start with Dave first on my far right. Dave is holding a red grizzled cockbird that basically the parents were, his grandparents were from Dave's 74 cockbird, and on the bottom side was his 24 hen. Dave, can you get a little information on that side of the family, on the parents?
Yeah, I was saying, the 2882 was a hen I started with, and in talking with Joe and Monty, they had suggested I try building the family around the hens. They tend to produce a little bit more consistent type. The cocks would come a little bit more in line, and it would help the kit as a whole. So that's what I did. I started focusing around 2882, and there was a particular cock I had which also descended, as she did, from my original birds from Joe, and his click pair 5071 199. That was 1098, a cockbird Mike Gordon bred and flew, but I inherited when he got out of birds. It was out of a cockbird I bred. Well, that click pair produced 24, and I flew her, and I had Homer Cordair and Jerry Higgins in the backyard. 1988. They saw her in the air, and Jerry picked her out and asked if he could borrow her, and I let him borrow her. He took her for a couple of years, and then he gave her back, and she was so good. She was such a nice producer. I just put her behind everything I had, and every good cockbird I had, and that's what was behind the grizzle that Richard took. It was a nice spinning cock, and I put her on an Ollie Harris cockbird I bred. There was a very fast spinner. I bred out of some birds I received from John Vandenbroek and Jim Lippert cockbird with straight Ollie Harris. So it was basically a cross. Richard took him, had success with him, and I guess the rest is history. This descends from that cross.
Thank you, David. Joe, what Joe's holding here, Amanda, is basically one of my birds I got from Dave. Dave got some birds from Bill Watson that he let him use. I got them myself and bred them, and this particular cockbird badge, I flew for less than a year, but his sister was a tremendous roller, but she got taken by a red tail. I didn't want to lose him. He was really nice, probably 15, no more than 20, but just velocity was tremendous. So Joe, basically what you're holding is something you created 50 years ago. So.
No, I didn't create, you did. You did, I didn't create you. We all start, like I told you, we all start with pigeons from somebody else. Everybody that you know, all the guys you admire and all the guys you don't like, they all say, they all started with birds from somebody else. It's what you do with them, Now, you can be fortunate, you get a good start, and you feel you got a good start, that's great. It's what you do with them from there on out, You got a man on first, now it's up to you to bring him around, So,
it's a good analogy.
I can't tell you much about the history. Dave is, he leaves me in his dust. I learned a long time ago, if I didn't write it down, I'd forget it tomorrow. So, I will say, I've always been, or for a long time, I gravitated into very much a body man. And the reason for that is I felt that I could mentally put the role into the birds, but if they didn't have the right kind of body that would enable them to perform right, it was all useless. So I'm very much a body man, and I very much believe that the bird should be apple-bodied and as tight in the vent area as possible. I am equally adamant about they got to have lots of secondary in short, wide flights. Now, unfortunately, this bird lacks secondaries. This cock is much better in the wing than this one. This is this must be about a 2011, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This bird will be far different when he goes through his molt next year. That'll be the 2 years. He'll be molt 2 years. He's going to look a lot different.
Well,
this cock, I would recommend that you be very selective what you mate him on. I wouldn't mate him on any real small hens. Okay? If you got a hen that tends to be medium, a little large, that you like, she'd be an ideal mate for this guy.
Thank you, Joe.
So, but you go through your birds and assess them real quick. You run your fingers up the keel, and if they're not coming up there where you can't, if you can start feeling indentations and and gaps in there, get rid of them, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, Amanda, this wraps it up. David, it's always tremendous, always a pleasure to have you come to my office. I'm really happy that you brought Joe again. This is Joe Singleton. Joe, I really thank you
I'll
for
be
coming
back.
down.
I'll be back.
Well, you're always welcome here.
I'm not going to die tomorrow.
I didn't mean
I hope.
Thank you.